Hey beautifuls! So today I am so excited to give you guys the first installment of Storytime month here on my channel. Every single Friday until the second week of February I'll be posting a new Storytime video about some of the stuff I've never talked about and stuff that I've just briefly kind of been tongue-in-cheek about, you get it? I'm wearing two chokers. I'm about to rip this one off because it's like cutting off the circulation to my brain, so there's that. So I just feel like within the last couple years I've gotten a lot more personal on my channel and I've talked about my mental health, why I don't do things, why I don't work, well, it's not that I don't want to work, it's more of like anxiety, so there's that. Of course, the reasons why I do not drive. I am a 25-year-old female and I do not have my driver's license. And there's a few different reasons why, and I'm going to get into that right now. Hope you guys got your tea, you got your coffee, your drink, your wine, whatever makes you happy at night, y'all. This is gonna be a ride because I've been wanting to talk about this for so long, and finally I'm just like, you know what, heck with it, I'm going to do it. So let's just get started. So as you guys know, if you've watched my channel or if you're new here, I have really bad anxiety, depression, social anxiety, so it's very hard for me to do things like adult things, like get a job, get my license, drive, all that kind of stuff. And it's not that I do not know how to drive. I do know how to drive. I have driven on the road, I've driven on a highway, like I'm not stupid, like I know how to drive. But the thing is, for me, I am just such a nervous driver. At certain times, like sometimes I'm completely fine and completely chill, like it's whatever, but most times, especially now that I've been a passenger and I've almost gotten into multiple accidents with David and when I was younger and stuff like that, and not that, you know, David's a bad driver, he used to drive really recklessly when we were younger, and now obviously since we're getting older, he's stopped doing that. I freak out and it just gives me a lot of anxiety. Also, like I don't know, I just feel like everyone wants to like get you on the roads, and I've talked about this in Vlogmas too, because during the holiday season, I have a conspiracy theory basically where I said that during the holiday season people, their guards down, more like creepy people out there that want to like steal children from Walmart, which happened down the road from me actually. A child was almost abducted by this couple, and if an employee didn't step in, basically they would have been taken, which is really horrifying. And also the fact that people on the roads don't care. During the holidays, obviously there's a lot more traffic, there's a lot more mean people, there's a lot more road rage, so naturally there's gonna be that 1 out of like 100 sick people that literally want to kill you, want you to get into an accident and want you to die. I literally talk about this the first day of Vlogmas. I'll link it down below. David and I literally almost smashed into a guardrail because of the person that was moving over into our lane. The person that was driving next to us that was changing lanes was basically going to like side swipe and like hit the front of the car, and we would have went into the guardrail. So he had to pull into almost the median of the freaking guardrails. More to that story, basically I'll say that they were like, person that was driving was following us afterwards, and when we caught up to him, he was like screaming at us and swearing at us, and it's like, it's not our fault, it was your fault clearly, because we were in the lane to begin with at a stoplight. We weren't doing anything wrong, so there's that. So that's another reason why I don't drive. Basically, people just make me very nervous, especially driving. I've seen a lot of people get into accidents, a lot of people that are stupid, they don't pay attention. I just cannot, like, I always wanted to drive, and I know I'm gonna have to, obviously, because I'm getting married and I want to have kids and have a life and everything, so I have to drive and get a car, but I am so petrified of it. I really am, and I'm not looking forward to it whatsoever. As a result of that, I've had 2 learner's permits, and I have been to driving school and that did not work out, and I'm still really peeved about that, so I will get into that story in a minute. But I am now officially going for my 3rd learner's permit the end of this month. I'm going to start studying next week. I'm very nervous about it, so please wish me luck. It's pretty much all common sense. Like, I already know, like, I'm 25. Like, I know a lot of the stuff already. I don't know, driving just makes me very nervous, especially around the area where David lives. It's very city. There's a lot of people walking in the street all the time. There's a lot of cars, a lot of people trying to go every which way, and it just freaks me out so badly. Like, I would rather drive in Maine. Honestly, I really would. Even though in Maine there's a lot of like older people that drive on the roads and drive extremely slow, which we almost got into a couple accidents because of that. I would rather drive up in Maine because it's a lot less chill, there's a lot less people, and people are obviously a lot nicer, and you get it. So there's my whole spiel of like driving. I personally would not mind driving if people were nicer. It just makes me very nervous, and thinking about it, like I'm getting hot and I'm freaking out, and this choker's not helping. Take that choker off. Actually, I kind of ripped it off because I got nervous and I broke it, so don't be me. So onto my driving school story. I'm not going to name this driving school. I'm not going to say the names of like the instructors or any of the people there. I'm just going to briefly tell you guys, you know, the gist of everything that happened. When it was time for me to go for my permit, this driving school did training where they would have you study from these books so that you can go and get your learner's permit and then still stay in the driving school, which initially I thought was great because I was just studying from like the manual by myself that like my ex-boyfriend gave me at the time, and I was just like, okay, well, don't know if I can could do this, but like I remember studying the heck out of that freaking book every single day at lunch, SSR period, after lunch. Like I was just reading it, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know if I could do this. So finally Danielle and her mom kind of convinced me and my mom to sign up at the same driving school that she was going to, which was this one. And my mom was opposed to it at first because she wanted me to go to the one that she went to, which I really wish I did that, but I think I'm gonna end up going to that one anyways to do my 8-hour course, which yes, you have to do after you get a learner's permit, whether you're in high school or you're an adult down here. You have to go for like an 8-hour course or driving school. I think I'm just gonna do an 8-hour course. Obviously did do the drug and alcohol course and everything, but I don't really care. Like it's been like, I don't know, 7-8 years since I was at the driving school, so I don't, yeah, there's that. And I will say a lot of you guys are probably gonna think I'm really stupid for this story, but I don't think I'm stupid because I just think it was a very bad experience and I wish I never went there. So Danielle and her mom, which like, it's no offense to them because I wanted to be with Danielle, we wanted to get our licenses together, all that kind of stuff, and we actually ended up at this driving school, which was owned by this guy and his family. You guys remember when I talked about the story time about my dad, I briefly said that he was like, when I was younger I felt very intimidated by him because put off that vibe of like intimidating, like just feels very intimidating and made me very nervous as a kid. I think that was his fault, it was just the way he was. But this guy was the same exact way as my dad was. But basically this guy was very, I want to say arrogant. He was very like rude. He was trying to like be buddy with all like the parents, as far as I remember. When he took you out in driving hours, like he wanted to know more about you and your family and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. Which is absolutely fine, like whatever. I remember a few comments that he did make when Danielle and I were sitting like in the driving school doing like the permit like testing stuff, and then we were doing stuff for like the license test or whatever after we got our permits. He would say to me and some of like the other kids that like we were in school with, just be like, oh yeah, well I'm going to the casino and I'm going to spend like this amount of money or whatever, which basically was the money that we had just given him for our driving school. So you get what I'm throwing out there. So yeah, he was just kind of mean, and I was just like, okay, well, whatever. The first time I ever got in a car, I want to say this right now, the first time ever was with the guy of this driving school, and he owned it. I don't think he owns it anymore. I heard from like my town's Facebook group that he doesn't own it anymore, but he still like works there. I don't know. My first ever time driving a car was with him, and I mean, he was really nice to me, and he was, you know, trying to teach me how to drive, and like it was like, you know, like don't do this and don't do that, and you know, but do this and do this, which was fine. So that was really intimidating, and I was so nervous. I was freaking out, but then it was fine. I ended up going on another driving hour with his wife, I believe. She was awesome, like bomb. I loved her. She was awesome. She bought me Dunkin'. Like it was really sweet. She was a really nice lady, and their daughter was really nice too, but I never got to go out on a driving hour with her. So after that, I went on my like last driving hour. This was like months and months later. This was like determining if I'm gonna go get my license or not, because the way that this worked was that we paid for them to train me to get my permit, but of course I paid for my permit and all that, and also paying for the driving school, so the times that I would go and study for the test and the times that I would go and get driving hours, and also the actual test and the license, all that money was in the price of what my mom paid for me. This driving hour, this was like the tip of the iceberg basically, is what I meant to say. I go on this driving hour and my mom tells the guy that like I'm ready because I've been driving and like I know what I'm doing, blah blah blah. However, this guy makes me extremely nervous. I'm 17 years old. I'm freaking out. Basically, I'm driving normally, everything's fine, like he doesn't say like that much. He's just like, oh good, like you did this and this and this. At a couple points he just got really like mad at me, I remember like I stopped at a stop sign and I waited there. You know, I looked like 3 times, so I looked like one way, the other way, and then the other way again. Apparently there was a car that came flying by and I didn't see it and I was gonna go, but he slammed in the brakes and he was like, you didn't see that car coming, how did you not see that coming? And I'm like, and by the way, the video wasn't muted, I'm just not saying it so I don't get demonetized. So like he got really mad at me in that instance, and then he took me to this like road that was kind of near my high school where like there was like no businesses on it. It was just like a lone road, whatever, I don't really know. And he wanted me to practice a K-turn, which I'd never done a K-turn. I can back park, well actually back parking I'm kind of shaky on, I gotta work on that. I can front park really good. Like every time I park like David's car or my mom's, they're just like, you're in the lines, you're perfect, and I'm like, I know. But he tried to get me to do a K-turn. Beforehand, when I went on my driving hour with his wife, she had taught me how to do K-turn, but obviously I forgot about that and I didn't really work on that because I was just like, ugh, K-turn, when am I going to do that? And apparently, no, K-turns are very handy, so practice your K-turns, kids. If you are about to get your license, go practice that, because she also had taught me how to like front park and back park and all that kind of stuff, so I was attempting that. I was trying that to the best of my abilities, but I don't think he had me front park or back park. No, I don't think he did. But he did have me do the K-turn, like I said, and I messed messed up so badly. I ended up on like the opposite side of the road. So you know, at least here in the United States, you're supposed to drive on the right side of the road. I'd end up on the left side, and I didn't know why. And I tried it like 3 times, and he got really mad at me, and he was like, just drive, just go. And I was like, are you like kidding me right now? I was like so upset because he just kind of started yelling at me. He's like, you're not ready for your license. I don't know what your mother's talking about. Blah, 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 blah. Just like reprimanding me and like acting like this is all my fault and all my mom's fault. It's like, I'm sorry, I don't know how to do a freaking K-turn. I'm so sorry, okay? Not only that, he gets on his phone. He calls my mom, you guys. He calls my mom and he tells her what a horrible driver I am, that I'm gonna ruin his reputation at the DMV, and that I don't deserve to get my license, and that I'm a horrible driver. He was saying all this crap to her on the phone and then hung up with her. Meanwhile, I'm driving like to the next house for the next person to have their driving hour, and I start crying, and I'm crying as I'm driving. He's like, if you're gonna cry, pull over. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. Like, I was just like, I'm fine. Kind of like F you kind of fine. That's how it was. We end up getting to the guy's house. I get in the back seat, and the guy starts driving, and he drives me back to my house. And the guy, okay, now the driving instructor, like, we get into my driveway, he has the nerve to say to me that my mom and I could pay for extra hours if I need more time before I get my license. But he said it in such a condescending way that made me feel like such a POS that I was just like, are you kidding me right now? So I remember getting out of that car, slamming the door, having them drive down the road, and I literally was kind of standing in front of my house, and I just had my middle fingers in the air, and I kind of screamed, you know, F you, because like, you don't do that to somebody. I'm sorry. Like, he clearly could have seen how nervous I was. He clearly could have seen that I was like a little, like, he was kind of intimidating me, and I think he kind of used that to his advantage to like make me feel like crap about myself in my driving. So ever since then, I've never gone back to that driving school. I have never called them. I have never done anything, and apparently I'm supposed to have a driving certificate from them, and my mom's like, we're gonna try and get that back, and I'm like, it's been like 8 years. Like, actually no, it's been 9 years. Sorry about that. So it's been like 9 years, so I really don't think I'm getting a driving certificate anymore. I don't really care at this point. I'm personally just really upset that I let someone get to me like that, number one. Then again, I was 17 years old, and I was very naive and very nervous and just, you know, soaking in my own anxieties and stuff like that. But I'm also really upset that I did not get my license, and I got so much crap for it for the past few years. Like, I know that Danielle's parents like are always like, oh, when are you getting your license? And I'm just like, I don't know. And same with like David's family, because they do like pick me up every single weekend, or at least David does now, and bring me home, which he doesn't care. I've like jumped back and forth. I was wondering if I was ever gonna get my license, or if I was just gonna have a state ID and just like take Uber and stuff everywhere. Honestly, my mom's like, I think you need to get your license. You need some independence, and then you won't feel so like confined and everything, which I do, because a little bit, since I have to ask like my mom to take me places, or like I go places only with my mom or with Danielle or David or Alba, Christina, you get it. Like, I don't do anything by myself really, and I have like a whole like reason why it's with a lot more of my anxiety, because I'm just afraid of like the world and stuff that happens in the world. So I do want to get it because I know I need it. So that's probably going to be happening hopefully within the next few months. I'm very scared, but this time I can promise you I'm going to the driving school that my mom went to, that Christina went to, and had no problems with whatsoever, which is also the rival of the one that I told you now. And I just remember this, sidetrack, but the driving school that I had went to would always talk crap about the one that my mom went to, which, like I said, they're rivals, so it's like, so professional, so professional. If anyone from my town or anyone that knows me watches this video and like, you know what I'm talking about, you know the place I'm talking about, you know, yeah, don't recommend. I really don't recommend that you go to them. I think that, then again, that was like 9 years ago. They could have changed by now. I don't know. If you're dealing with a nervous driver, or you're dealing with someone that has really bad anxiety, you shouldn't be, you know, an a-hole to them, basically. Like, you shouldn't be rude to them, make them feel like they're anything less just because they can't do a K-turn, or they can't park right, or it takes them a little longer to get things. I don't think that's right as a driving instructor, so I just want to throw that out there. This is like my review. This is my experience. This is what I do not recommend. If you guys ever go to a driving school and they treat you like this, or they make you feel like crap, do not go there. Get your money back and get out, because it's just not worth it, in my opinion. That is pretty much the story of why I don't drive, and about the driving school that basically kind of messed me up really badly, and as a result I'm 25 and haven't got my license. But then again, my mom actually didn't get her license till she was 30, so I guess it's not that bad. And I know there's actually, like, I feel like it's a trend find now that more and more teenagers are waiting till like they're 18, 19, 20 to get their licenses, which I think is awesome, because I feel like at 16, like it's great and you get freedom and whatever, but I do feel like there's a little bit of an aspect where you're nervous and you're a new driver and like by yourself, 16 years old in the car, especially if you have like anxiety or people freak you out and like you get it. Like I just think it's a lot better. I wish that was kind of going on when I was in high school. Obviously everyone's like, look at me, I got my license and I have this Gucci bag and I drive this car that my daddy bought me. Literally, you wonder why I don't want to live in my town. That is why. Everyone just tries to one-up each other around here, but I know I'm wearing this shirt weird too, but you know. Hi. That is my story, and I hope you guys take something from it. Don't be me. Don't let people talk down to you. You don't feel comfortable at a driving school if you are a teenager or even an adult like me, then just get your money back and just don't even. Even if you walk in there and it's like bad vibes, just turn around and walk out, because it's like, I got a lot of regrets. I got a lot of regrets with that, and I'm actually planning on paying my mom and my grandpa back the money from all of that BS because I feel really terrible about it, and yeah, it's just not worth it, honestly. It's not worth the time, it's not worth the hassle, it's not worth it. I love you guys so much. Hope you have an awesome day. Subscribe if you'd like to see more of me, and like this video if you enjoyed and you want to see more in the future, and turn on little bell post notifications so you know when I post a new video, because YouTube is just YouTube is praising people doing the worst of things these days, and we do not want to be those people. So I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video.